Hello, student historians. This is Wendy with AP History Help, and this is the AP History Help podcast, where you will learn everything you need to know about taking AP history classes, from skills to content, from historical thinking skills to themes in history. Whether you're taking or thinking about taking AP World History, AP US History, or AP European History, this is the podcast for you. As we add more episodes, check out the episode list and show notes to find the topics that you need help with or want to learn more about. Email me at wendy@aphistoryhelp.com with questions that I might answer on future episodes and or on TikTok or Instagram. Speaking of which, please do follow me and interact with me on TikTok and Instagram at AP History Help. This week, we are going to talk about why you should or maybe shouldn't take an AP History course. You've probably heard the good and the bad from friends, family, teachers, guidance counselors, and who knows who else. Today I'm going to give you the lowdown on the good, the bad, and the ugly of AP history classes. It's important to know that AP stands for Advanced Placement, as in college placement. The AP courses are college-level courses that are developed by the College Board, who, by the way, are also responsible for SATs, ACTs, and a bunch of other tests. These courses are weighted, meaning that if you get a C or higher, it will actually count as a letter grade higher towards your GPA. So on a 4-point scale, for example, an A would give you 5 points rather than 4. A C would give you 3 points rather than 2, and so on. Also, if you pass the end of the year exam, most colleges will award you college credit. Some colleges will only award credit for getting a 4 or a 5. A 5 is the highest score. And many will give you college credit for passing with just a 3. So you'll want to check with your prospective college that you're interested in to know what their policy is. Regardless, it's likely one less class you'll be required to take, or for your parents, if they're paying for your college education, one last class that they or you have to pay for. Next, the textbooks. The textbooks that are required by the College Board are college level textbooks and are similar to those that introductory college courses will use, and as such they are big and heavy and written at a high reading level. If you are not a strong reader, you'll want to think twice about whether this is the best option for you. I'm not trying to say don't do it. On the contrary, think twice and consider what supports you could put in place to overcome any obstacles. Is there an online version of the text that you can use, like a read aloud feature? Is there a simpler text that you could use, like an AMSCO book? If you're not familiar with those, let me know. I can tell you more about those, send you links, whatever. You definitely would want to ask the instructor about these kind of things in advance. And also, you might want to consider hiring a tutor who can regularly review the content with you. The high expectations, or rigor, as we like to call it, of the coursework is great for helping you improve your critical thinking skills, your analysis skills, as well as getting really good at writing about history. And the way that you write is more of an academic, amateur historian kind of way. So yes, there is a lot, let me emphasize, a lot of writing. Different teachers will require varying degrees of writing over the course of the school year, but on the exam, you will write 3 short answer questions, which are the total of about 9 paragraphs, 1 document-based question essay, which should be about 4 to 5 paragraphs, 1 long essay question, which usually ends up being a little bit shorter than the DBQ, so maybe 4, maybe 5 paragraphs, depending how strong you are on the topic. And you'll have to be able to incorporate your own knowledge of history with facts and documents, and then write critically about them. This is certainly challenging, but totally is something that you'll get better at the more you work at it. The skills for writing the essays can be honed over the course of the school year, and it happens to be one of my specialties. I offer small classes and tutoring sessions geared towards teaching and practicing these skills. And a perk here is that once you learn the skills for one AP class, they are the same skills that are used for the other AP history classes. So you can feel a little bit better about taking another AP history class. Do you like history? AP courses, while they often skim the surface of history, do provide a deeper understanding of the past in each of the courses, while looking at the connections, the complexities, the nuances. The AP curriculum allows students to make these connections across time periods and places, and even across courses. For example, I had a student in my AP European History class who was also taking AP World History. And he found, especially towards the second semester, that certain units of AP World supported certain units of AP Euro, and thus these cross-course connections. And by the way, he got a 5 on his AP Euro exam. The AP curriculum often will send you down a rabbit hole as you discover people and topics that you want to know more about. The primary and secondary source documents that you will read give you multiple perspectives of historical situations that will expand your understanding of all of it. The workload can get pretty intense at times. To do this course correctly, you should be reading regularly and taking notes on the reading. It will depend on your teacher, but you need to determine what is the best way for you to learn from the reading. Taking Cornell notes, reading out loud to yourself, graphic organizers. You have to be metacognitive, which means being aware of how you learn best and regularly checking in with yourself as to whether or not and what you are learning. You don't do the homework for a grade. Well, okay, yeah, you do homework for a grade. But if you're being metacognitive, you should not be doing homework for a grade. Do it to learn the content that you will need to know. Most teachers will post the learning objective or the course content that you're supposed to be learning that day or that week somewhere on a whiteboard, on your Canvas or Google Classroom page, somewhere. If not, the College Board has their curriculum and exam description that includes what you should be learning with each key concept. And I'll post the links to the curriculum and exam descriptions for each of the 3 history courses in the show notes page so you have access, so you can see what it's all about. Anyway, you should be regularly checking those objectives or key concepts to make sure that you're learning what you're supposed to be learning. In most of the AP classes that I've taught, the class becomes like a community or a family, as we are working together to achieve this common goal, which is passing the AP exam in May. It's quite different than other classes that just have state exams, and it's hard to explain it beyond that, and I'm sure there are some situations that don't feel that way. Hopefully, if you decide to take an AP class, you'll be fortunate to be part of that community. But even if you aren't, you'll likely find others who are in your situation on social media that you'll be able to connect with. I saw it on my TikTok channel last spring, where students would comment, and yes, I would respond, but they basically started having conversations with each other on my TikTok posts, which I was fine with, part of that AP History Help community. You definitely need to improve your time management skills, or if you're easily distracted, you want to start working on that now because you have to try to stay focused. And procrastinating is a bad habit to get into. Why, yes, I do teach a course on this. One of my favorite techniques is something called the Pomodoro method. Basically, I'm not going to get into the details, but it involves setting a timer for 20 to 25 minutes, eliminating all distractions for that time period, and having focused work time. and then you take a 5 or 10-minute break and then repeat as needed. And that's just the tip of the time management iceberg. I will try to sprinkle more tips throughout the episodes. In general, if you're taking rigorous classes, and especially if you participate in extracurriculars or have an after-school job, you have to schedule your time. It's so easy to get overwhelmed by all you need to do and end up doing none of it. You're so overwhelmed, you're just mindlessly scrolling on your phone. Plan out your week to accommodate study time each day. Maybe give yourself a Friday and Saturday off so you don't burn out. Nevertheless, if you take an AP course, you'll need to be intentional about how you spend your time. All right, so the last thing I'm going to talk about as far as what to expect from an AP course, and if it's for you, is the pressure of the exam. The AP exam is a lot. 55 multiple choice questions, 3 short answer questions, a DBQ essay, and an LEQ essay. Not counting the reading of directions and giving you a little break, it is a 3-hour and 15-minute exam. You can't have water at your desk anymore, so you have to hydrate before and during the breaks halfway through the exam. You can still pass the class if you don't pass the exam, but you most likely still want to get that college credit. You've been preparing for this test all year. Of course you want to pass the test. Yet the reality is that the pass rate is between 50 and 60%. That means that 40 to 50% of students who take the exam don't pass. And that's a lot of pressure. And on any given day, anything can happen. Last year, I had this student get interrupted in the middle of the exam to be told that his car was stolen. Yes, really. Side note, he actually got a 5 on the exam. But maybe you don't feel well, but you're not sick enough to see a doctor. You don't get a second chance to take the test unless there is a doctor willing to say that you are on death's doorstep. Missing the bus, not an excuse to take the late exam. Get my drift? Do not put all of your eggs into the I have to pass the AP exam basket. Striving to pass, making it an important goal, yeah, that's okay. But do manage your own expectations. You have to be okay with not passing that exam and appreciate the experience of taking the course and preparing for an exam and even just sitting through such a grueling test. Okay. Whew. That's all I've got for this episode. Did I forget something? Did I leave out a burning question that you have? In just a moment, I'll give you my email for you to send me that question that I left out or that you're thinking of that I didn't answer. If you've decided that an AP class is for you, stick with me. I have your back. Tune in as we go through all you need to know to be in the best possible position to succeed in AP US History, AP World History, or AP European History, and hopefully on the exam. Join me next episode as we look at how to be best prepared for an AP history course, essentially how to set yourself up for success from week 1. Email me at wendy@aphistoryhelp.com if you have any questions or suggestions. That's wendy@aphistoryhelp.com. And follow me on Instagram and TikTok at aphistoryhelp. You'll be able to comment, ask questions, and interact with me there. Tell your friends who are taking or thinking about taking AP history classes about the podcast. I'm here to help as many students as possible to be successful in the course and on the exam. That will do it for this episode. Don't forget who to come to for AP History Help. This is Wendy, and this episode of AP History Help is now history.